Alright, as my usual thing, I'm just doing some sub-assemblies, getting some parts together before I start at the beginning, or painting. So I haven't done anything of the cockpit yet. I've started with the nose gear, minus the resin wheels. I'm just doing the kit parts at the moment. So it's in pieces because it'll be easier to paint separate, because that'll sit in there and that comes back in, plugs in there. Hang on, got that right. There it is. And then these bits come in either side, so it'll be easier to paint off and then glue them in. But anyway, it seems to fit all right. No real issues. Just that the gear legs, for some reason, they've made them two parts, which just creates a whole lot of cleanup and difficult cleanup because of the raised areas on the pieces. So you can't just get in there and sand it. You got to try and get over those lumps and bumps. So it just takes more time sorting it out. And the lights on there, I need to mask the front of that off. So that's the nose gear leg, which I think is off a A10, if I'm correct. I think I read somewhere. I think this aircraft is a bits and pieces of other aircraft in certain areas. And then I went on to the weapons bay. It's bloody heavy. So that piece in there is two big bulkheads that glue together, and you got the other parts clip on the top, B6, B1. They're handed, so they'll only fit one way. That just plugs into the bottom, and you got the end bulkheads, side bulkheads. Obviously I'm not gluing them in because I won't be able to paint properly. So that's that, and then you got the weapons. So it's two. These aren't handed. You just make two of the same mechanism. That'll plug in. And there, I haven't. Oh, look at that! That broke. Huh. I've got to fix that now. Oh yeah, so I'll just plug in there, and the bomb obviously sits on that pylon. I'm not sure how detailed, or it's, to me it's got no details. I don't know if that's how it actually looks or not. This piece, so that pylon plugs in, these are two halves, so that again, awkward cleanup. I didn't worry about the underside of it because it can't be seen. I just cleaned the seam up where it's possible to see it, but again, it's if you flip the model upside down. So I need to come back and fix that. Glue must have been, I know they push into, there's tabs and slots, and these bits, the mesh bit is also handed because the slots on the sides where these bits, the actuators plug onto, are different sizes, so they only go certain ways. And the tab and the slot are pretty firm, so I'm guessing what happened there is when I've glued it, I've pulled it in with tweezers, and it's must have weakened it in that area. Right, so this is the right gear leg. So with all the landing gear, they're having you put it in straight away, but you don't need to. I've done a dry fit of the gear bays, and you can just come in and plug them in later, which would be better. The same here, I haven't glued the legs together, I'm just sitting them in there dry at the moment. So again, the main gear legs are 2 parts. I've cleaned them up, but I have to prime them and check that there's no gaps still. I still don't understand why there's nothing goes inside them or anything, so I don't understand why they've moulded it or tooled it that there's 2 halves. To be honest, it's painful. And I did look up, I remember to look up this kit. I think it's from 2010. I think it's a 2012. One of the sprues I picked up had 2010 stamped on it, so it's fair age now, I guess. But it's not. The other one you can get in 1/32 scale is Testers, and it's been boxed by everyone. Reebok. So if you see a Tallery 1/32 or a Vel 1/32, or I think Fujimi boxed it as well, it's just the Testers kit, but I have no idea how it would compare to this one. I've never seen it. I didn't even know it existed really. Alright, then I went on, did the engines. I'm not having, you won't see the engines. If you wanted to, you'd have to keep it outside the model because there's no like access panel or anything to look at it. And if you did want to keep one or both out, which is fair enough, but you're going to have to do a lot of cleanup because you've got the first stage. Hang on, no, that's first stage fan, sorry, that's it's got ejection pin marks in it, so if you want to keep out and display it, basically you got a lot of cleanup. And you got that, so that's that section, D24, D12, D6 is the front. Then you got this piece, which is 4 pieces glued together, so you've got 4 seam joins that you would need to clean up, and all these bracket or rings, mounting rings, whatever, that go around. There's heaps of sprue gates on them that need cleaning up. You can see I've done a real rough job because you won't see it, but I have glued all the little parts on. It wasn't necessary because again, you're not seeing it, but I just built them anyway. And the exhaust section, which I got wrong when I did the review because I didn't read the instructions, so that's the exhaust. I've glued it together. There is seam joins there and there. Now what I've done, let me just grab it and try and fit it in the picture, is I've made up the other side. Gonna be plenty of that. Banging stuff with it. Alright, let's check that's in there. So there you go, that's the whole engine length with the intake in as well. So obviously I haven't glued it in, it's all taped just so I could see. Basically I wanted to see what I can see through the rear end. I don't know if this is even going to work because it's so awkward, but because there's the rear of the exhaust there, you got those vertical fins, so pretty much that blocks, sit that there, I've just lost my intake. That pretty much blocks a lot of the view of that, so you may be able to get away with not having to clean up those seam joints. That really just sits plugs, there's slots and tabs that all lines up, and I don't think I can get this in maybe when you, so that's what you'll see, because if I use the photo etch fruit, oh there it is there, 2010 Trumpeter. that photo etch is pretty open spaced, I guess. I mean, you can see through it easy, is my point. So I'll have to clean up probably the seam joins. So that intake's 2 halves. We'll have to clean that up, paint the inside, because that will be seen. And let me remove that again before I break something. So when you look through that intake, you'll be able to see the fan with the photo etch pieces on the front. So I'll paint that, but it's back a fair ways, as you can saw in the other section, so you won't see those ejection pin marks. Don't worry about any of that, because that all you'll see is the actual fan. That's loose. They're all loose. You don't glue them, because you just sit them on there to align them. Bring this back. So that where they sit in those slots, you need to be able to move them so you can align it properly. So you do not glue the bulkheads in until it's in, then you can glue it. Do that again. So yeah, it's a lot of, I don't know, do you need the engine? I guess it's structurally meets the front to the rear, but you're not seeing it, so you have, and again, I don't know how accurate that would compare to the real thing either, but you can't get, as far as I'm aware, there's no aftermarket engine parts or anything. If you wanted a better one, but I guess you can, if you did want to display one and you wanted to clean all those seam joins up and that, you could probably liven up a bit, add some wiring or something. So that's where I'm at the moment. So I'm going to be able to start doing some painting on the gear bays and the weapons bay. That's all white, being modern aircraft, and I need to fix this up, which is unfortunate that happened, but it'll be alright once it sits in position. Anyway, I'll sort that out. So I'll have another look from the rear end to see. I might clean up just a bit of it, that seam joint just towards the rear end of it maybe. But I'll see if I can get a better view with that piece, this piece. So that's the exhaust section, so you're looking through the fins that way, so it blocks a lot of your view. But a fair start in on it. Now, being 1/32 scale, it's pretty large parts, and I'm going to add some wiring to the undercarriage. So I've found some walk around photos of the aircraft, and it's not exact, but it's near what's going on. So I've got the wire for the light, and there's some other hoses or wires coming out of there. I've kept them long so I can fit it after I've painted it. When I install it, I've drilled a hole down the bottom of the gear bay so I can push the wires through and just cut them off and glue them, or just push them through, just to suggest that the wiring's running through to a central point. So that's the nose gear. This is one of the gear legs. This is the left gear leg. Just in process of gluing. Same with that part that's got wiring on the light. And the same again, I've drilled the hole down the back, so I'll run the wires down. I don't do this a lot really on Well, I hardly ever do it on 148 aircraft. It's small and you don't really see much, but this one you probably see it better being the size it is. So I thought I'd add to it, and I'm just using 0.4 lead wire CA glue to hold it in. Right, let me grab this monstrosity. Oh, right, bang that. So I've got the whole right engine installed now. So I've painted it up. You can see I've put in I've installed the photo etch mesh. I really don't think you can see much looking through it anyway, but so I've painted the intake. They said in the call out is black, so that's what I've done. I'm not sure if that's correct or not. I've tried. You look at images of it again, you can't really see in there anyway. So, and I've done a burnt metal on the exhaust, but again, I don't think. Let me flip that up. Yeah, you can't see it. If you shone a torch in there, you might. And the exhaust fin system, I've painted that black. So towards the end, when I start weathering it, I'll have a look, see if I can find some images of what that area looks like. So that's all done, like I mentioned. Let me move that. Ugh. Like I said, you can't see it, but just in case, I've put CA glue along the seam joint down, not all the way, but so far. Clean it up and paint that. And this one, you can get away with the short side because when it's installed, you can't see it visually. But this one, it's possible to see. So I've CA glued that seam joint, and I'll clean that up and paint it. So once I've got this in the paint bay at the moment. I've got the primer, by primer black, and then I'll paint the white. When I finish doing this wiring on the gear legs, I'll start priming it up and painting them. The bays, I can paint these up and install them. Like I said, the landing gear I'll be putting in towards the end, so I can probably just go ahead and start doing them as well. And then once I get some of that installed, then I'll return to the beginning and do the cockpit. Oh, and also glued in. You got two panels. They come in from the inside, and they need to go in obviously before you put the intake in, because you can't see that part now, so that's got to go in. It's a piece now. I'm not. Your option, you can have it closed or open. Where was that? Here somewhere. No, let's see. Oh, here we go. I'm not sure could that be the in-flight refueling area? I'm not sure what it is, but I haven't looked at those parts yet. I'll have a look at how they look, and then I'll decide whether I'm going to have it open or closed. So that's if you're having it open, and then if you don't want it open, come from the outside and you put the two doors, glue them in shut. So obviously if you're doing it that way, they'll be open, but I haven't looked at that yet to see what that's about. I should probably have another squiz on the Dr. Google for some images of it, see if I can see it open. So that's where the gear bays will sit. I've given them a pin wash, and I'm cleaning it up, so it's still not finished yet. Same with those two. I've put the wash in. I need to clean it up, so I'm using a dark wash, well, very dark, I guess. It's dark sepia. So it'll really, well, not that you'll see it unless you pick it upside down, but it'll really make details pop. And just A Tillon 502 odorless thinner, but any enamel thinner or white spirits to clean up the wash. I'm not, for some reason, I don't like using enamel washes on aircraft. I don't mind using oils and enamels on armour. On the rare occasion I do armour, but for some reason I just prefer the Flory washes that I use. They're just a water-based wash. But anyway, I'll see how I go with that. And obviously they've been painted, and I've started painting up the weapons bay. So you see I prime black, especially in gear bays and weapons bay like that, and when I spray the white I mottle, and you can see the darker shades showing through. That's part of my weathering. That's like the paint. You can take that as the paint's wearing away or it's dirty. It's just an easy way of doing some weathering just in the paint stage. Oh, let me grab this monstrosity again. So I've put the other engine in, it's all painted up. That I mentioned earlier, that is I confirmed for myself that is the refueling area, so I won't be having that open. It's parked on the ground, so I'll have the doors closed on that. You also need to drill out a hole there, and those slots, what I've done, I've just drilled the hole either end of that slot, and I can come in from the other side with a blade and chop it out. I don't even know what, I saw something sitting in there. I was thinking, why? Surely there's nothing that goes on the outside of it, but apparently there is. So I don't need to worry about that internally anyway. And I think that's nav lights need to go in before I get to the stage of buttoning it up, but that's quite a ways off yet. I've kept this on here because I know myself, I know I will break them off. I'll wait till as late as possible to remove that, because once you damage them they'll be hard to fix because it's just plastic. Oh, I'll move that again. Yeah, so I'll continue doing that, cleaning that up. I still need to paint the bomb racks for the weapons bay. Yeah, so making some progress slowly on it. It's just so big and so awkward.